Hello everyone! Today I will share a very easy cauliflower pizza crust recipe. I will start by stating that if you had failures making the crust in the past, it's not you, and I will stress the couple of areas where I had to tweak things. Okay, starting with the actual cauliflower. You have to shred it with a cheese grater. I tried using the food processor, but the pieces were not consistent in size and the crust was very fragile. You will need 2 cups of cooked cauliflower and 1 standard head of it should be enough. Use the large grating side to shred the cauliflower, and it might be easier if you break it into smaller pieces. Next, place a frying pan on the stove and set the burner to medium. Add the shredded cauliflower to the pan without any oil or butter and saute it for about 15 minutes. The goal is to let the excess moisture evaporate. You don't have to add any spices, but I personally like to add half a teaspoon of each Himalayan salt, black pepper, dried dill, and garlic powder. Since there is no oil in the pan, make sure to stir the cauliflower rice often so it doesn't burn or stick to the bottom of the pan. While the cauliflower is sautéing, in a large bowl, scramble 2 eggs and then add half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese and half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and mix them very well together. I have to note here that I also have done it in the past with all mozzarella and with all Parmesan cheese, and it was good. However, if you do all Parmesan cheese, the flavor could be a bit too strong for some. Once the cauliflower is done, you will have to wait for it to cool down. If you add it to the bowl right away, the heat will start solidifying the egg whites and it will cause the pizza crust to break. When the cauliflower has cooled, add 2 cups of it to the eggs and cheese mix and mix it very well together. Make sure the cauliflower is well incorporated with the cheese and eggs to assure a consistent and sound pizza crust. About a minute of mixing should be sufficient. At this point, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 205 degrees Celsius and get ready to shape the crust. Place a sheet of parchment paper on a pizza pan, and I'm using a pan that is perforated to let any excess moisture escape while baking. Then add the cauliflower mixture in the middle, shape it like a disc and start pushing from the middle outwards consistently and carefully until the crust is about 1/4 of an inch thick or just over half a centimeter. And at the same time, try to keep the outside edge solid, consistent, and just a bit thicker than the rest of the crust. Make sure the crust is no more than 1/4 of an inch thick, otherwise it will break after you bake it. When done, place the crust on the bottom rack of the oven and set the timer to 20 minutes. Now, about the cooking time. Most recipes suggest baking the cauliflower crust for 20 minutes, but it actually takes my crust 30 minutes to be perfect. My assumption is that it all depends on how your oven works. So it's best to start with 20 minutes and after that keep an eye on the crust, and when it reaches that goldenish color, it should be ready to take out. Let it cool enough for you to be comfortable to handle it, so you can remove it from the parchment paper and place it on the pizza pan, where the toppings will be added. Should you be using any uncooked toppings, make sure to cook them prior to making the pizza crust, because you will only have 15 minutes left to cook it. For example, I like portobello mushrooms, so I sauté them in advance. Once the cauliflower pizza has cooled enough for you to handle, gently separate it from the parchment paper and place it in the pizza pan. When it comes to toppings, you can add whatever you like. If you add marinara sauce, make sure to only use a small amount, about 2 to 3 tablespoons at the most, otherwise your crust will get soggy. I like to add basil, black olives, sautéed portobello mushrooms, a layer of shredded mozzarella cheese, then a variety of Italian cold cuts, and another layer of shredded mozzarella. Once you've added all the toppings, place the pizza in the oven and bake it for 10 to 15 minutes at the most at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. When done, take the cauliflower pizza out of the oven and let it rest on a rack for a few minutes before slicing. When ready to eat, slice it and enjoy. And I too hope you enjoyed my cauliflower pizza crust recipe, and if so, please give the video the thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.